didn't in a million years expect to there was some really good competition out there as well.
Yeah.
So it's firstly, you need to know yourself. Until you allow yourself to be vulnerable, allow yourself to be really exposed, I think you'll never find your true.
I have been excited for this chat for weeks. So thank you.
Thank you.
Ian Van Eijk, for keeping it real. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Prue. A pleasure.
Take me back to where Ian began.
Where Ian began?
Yeah.
That's a really deep question.
I know, but I feel like you are the person for the deep chats.
I had a really unconventional life. I went to boarding school when I was 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you remember how you felt about that at the time?
Do you know what? At the time, I was okay because you're a kid. It's exciting. Big plane, like going to London.
So, born in Melbourne, boarding school in London?
Correct, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Which is really random because my dad's Dutch and he worked for a company like Shell, which is a Dutch company.
Yeah.
And they said, your kids are going to go to school in Holland because that's where you're from. And he's like, no, that's fantastic, but there's a huge problem. They don't speak Dutch.
Yeah.
So the compromise was like 40-minute flight away to go to England.
Right.
So it was really random.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, gee, this is really exciting, like all of that. And it sort of hit home when Mum dumped us, so to speak.
Yeah.
And when she walked away, it was like, the shoulders.
Quite jarring.
And she was like howling.
Oh.
And that was sort of probably the start of Ian Van Eijk, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it was like you just had to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. So a really good positive out of really what could have been a really negative, I guess.
Yeah, and so you're 10 years old, you're from Melbourne, you've been sent to London to go to boarding school.
Yeah.
You see that through until year 12?
I left when I was year 11.
Yeah.
So I came and did, I'm trying to think, was it GCSEs? No, it's
HSC.
English. HSC here.
HSC, yeah.
So I did my GCSEs in London.
Yeah.
And Mum said something like in holidays, or someone asked me a question and I said I was English. And my mum's like really like pie and sauce. Yeah. And she was like, oh my God, my son said he's English. This is just awful. So she said, that's it, you're coming back to Australia.
Wow.
You're going to school, your sister's back home.
Yeah.
So you're living with your sister. And I was absolutely gutted because all my network was there for the past, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, if you don't come home now, you're never coming home.
As in, she thought she'd lose you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's right. You're going to be at the other end of the world and we're going to be here with the rest of the family. So that's how it sort of all sort of came crashing back to reality. And here I am in Australia.
Oh my goodness. That is something I never knew about you. That's an incredible beginning. But explains a little bit about your love for the finer things in life. You love travel, obviously.
Yep.
You love a great glass of red.
Oh, yeah.
You love top-notch security in terms of your pet chihuahua Ruby Jean Josephine.
Yeah. How good's that?
And people close to the source tell me that when you fly, you're very particular about which end of the plane you travel on.
Yes, that's very true.
So it all is starting to make sense.
But you know why? Because, life is this short.
Yes. I love this.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you sacrifice X for Y? I'm fortunate in one sense I can do that, but there comes a cost. So, like if I had 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids, whatever, it's not realistic.
Yeah.
So I don't have that. So I think, well, let's enjoy that. I'll slum it, so to speak. My niece's 16th birthday, we went to Hong Kong. So in the back we went, for her 18th. And that's right, her 18th and my nephew's 18th. We took them to Paris and London and stuff like that. So we were at the back of the plane, but it was more about the experience. And it was an experience in the back, and as was the whole holiday, but it's all worthwhile, and that's why we work.
Absolutely.
That's why we work.
Yeah, and we will absolutely get to that. So you also have a great love for musical theatre.
Yeah.
So do I. Do you think that's a little bit of where your showmanship comes from?
Do you know what? I do in a way. Like when I went to school, we we had two options. It was
Yeah.
like A or B.
Yeah.
You could go to like a army cadet
Yeah.
sort of volunteer thing, and I realised camouflage was not for me.
You look great in camo though.
So,
and camo is making a resurgence.
Oh, is it
Have
really?
you-
They
yeah.
maybe I'll have to give it a go.
Yeah, give it a go.
Or it could be like a volunteer thing, and it was in a home for people that had whether it was mental issues or
Yeah.
they weren't just old people. It was people that had sort of mental, physical
health,
issues, and
Which back then would have been quite progressive to volunteer in those sorts of spaces.
yeah,
in a
but to
school
me that was
environment.
better than running around
Yeah.
with a little fake rifle.
Oh,
that just so
yeah.
wasn't me.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a guy called Leonard, and we used to have to walk them in their wheelchairs. And Leonard's had no front teeth, and it used to flap when he spoke. And as a 14, 13-year-old, it was really funny, but you couldn't laugh because you didn't
Yeah.
do that. And I remember we were pushing him, and we went over a bump, and then he sort of slumped like that.
Yeah.
And we thought he was dead. And then we sort of panicked because we were just kids.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we were like howling with laughter,
Yeah.
just at the absurdity of it all and how we can explain that we've killed Leonard,
Oh.
going over a speed hump in a wheelchair. But he just fell asleep.
Poor Leonard.
And I think that sort of was the start of you can have a really weird situation and you can
light
make
of
it funny
Yeah.
at the same time, even though you know it's serious.
Yeah.
But it just sort of diffused everything. And I think that sort of was the start of, getting to things that were fun, whether it was
Yeah.
a musical or music or just having a laugh over
Yeah.
things. I think it just diffuses everything in
And
life.
probably going a little bit deeper, like saying that, you were dumped there to use your own expression at 10, almost a bit of a coping mechanism.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And
For you
it's a
to
really
learn
interesting
self-preservation.
thing. Like, my mum's passed away for about 14 years ago.
No,
and whenever, kids can be really cruel.
Yeah.
Whenever she was being annoying, it was like, you dumped us. And
That would have
at
just...
the time, it was just a word.
Yes.
But to her, we may as well just have knifed her. And you could just see
Yeah.
just the horror in her face. So
Yeah.
it's funny how as you get older, you see things so differently.
Yeah.
And things just evolve. And
Oh.
so I use the word dumped, not in the sense of dumped.
Of being, yes.
But as a 10-year-old, I suppose you are.
Yeah. Well, there's no... What
You
else
don't
do you say?
understand reality.
You-
That was the choice.
Yeah.
It was that or nothing. There was no choice.
God.
So interesting.
Oh, there's so many questions. So in terms of auctioneering,
Yep.
showmanship, all of those sorts of things, you've got so much experience in this space at the moment, and now hearing a little bit about your backstory, I can, understand where that flair and, finesse and perfectionism, for want of a better word, comes from. How much of the auctioneering process is your own creativity versus you're following a process?
Do you know what? Every auction's different.
Yeah.
You just cannot plan it. And, people will say, oh, how did you, that line, or you said that,
Yeah.
where did that come from?
Your one-liners are to be bottled. I wish Robin could create a reel of just Ian Van Eijk one-liners. It would go viral in a heartbeat.
It's just got to come from in. It's just in the moment, bang,
Yeah.
it comes out. And, years and years I didn't do auctions because I was a little bit scared. I didn't want to unbottle that stupidity, if for want of a better word.
I saw on your socials the other day, and we'll link to it in the notes, but did you do was it a public speaking course or a professional development? There was something years and years ago.
I did a course with a guy called Richard Maloney
Yep.
called Engage and Grow, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, okay.
Really, really amazing.
Yep.
And basically he challenges you to let your guard down.
Okay.
And that's a big thing for me because
What's one of the ways he would challenge that?
he would force you to open up.
Okay.
Feel safe
Yeah.
and then just open up because it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah. Better. What did we say before?
Good, better,
Good,
best.
better, best. Yeah.
And nothing's going to hurt you unless you allow it to.
Mm.
And I think growing up how I did, very on your own.
Yeah.
Go home to mum and dad 3 times a year for holidays and stuff like that. Grandma in Holland, half-term holidays.
Yeah.
You had to sort of be really tough.
Yeah.
And you had to hold your own.
Yeah.
So he was a total, brick by brick, knock that out.
Yeah.
It's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's okay to say no. It's okay
Yeah.
to be bad at something. Whereas I was brought up that very British, everything's rosy, everything's good, and you just keep quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So he was probably really influential to start with, just to say, do you know what, it's okay.
And just fail.
Let it go.
Have a go.
Yeah.
Like, be okay
Correct.
with... Yeah, because, like, from that boarding school structure to getting out, and at the moment, a 60-odd, 50-odd% chance of failing on a day in terms of clearance rates, that's huge growth from where you were to where you are now.
100%. And do you know, I'm 97% success rate with my auctions.
There you go.
And, there's a team around me, so it's not just me.
That's huge.
It's,
97%.
It is.
In the current market.
It is.
Is massive.
And I think it's process.
Yeah.
But I think, I always look at it when I go to a shop and, the salesperson comes up to me and they're in your face 9 times out of 10 with bad breath. And you're like, just go away, go away.
Someone got a mint.
No,
It's a hint.
But you sort of think, pressure on. They're here to sell me something. And I sort of walk away and think, do you know what? I'll just go to JB next door and do things at my own pace until I sort of know what I want.
Yeah.
Buyers are like that. I would say on the auction day, the people that are the most scared are the owners and the buyers. Yeah. And we're there to sort of diffuse both parties. Yeah. And I think if you're just really, really serious, just shouting numbers, all of that, I think buyers are scared to do anything. If they're unsure, they're nervous, they're scared. So my sort of theory in my head is just go out there, let them have fun. Yeah. I'll have a bit of fun while at it, and the results speak to themselves.
Well, there is a language, it's a psychology, and there's a language around it to kind of try and disarm everyone. You are there to disarm everyone and make everyone feel at ease. And at the 100%. End of the day, if people feel at ease, you're going to get more out of them. But also, they say that buying a house, being divorced, all those sorts of things, the death of a loved one is one of the most stressful times in your life. Whereas buying your next family home or buying your first home or selling a property that's been in your family for 100 years, albeit huge, it should be exciting. Yep. It should be fun. With a level of obviously care and professionalism from your part, our part, it should be a really exciting day. Yep.
I think, you can sort of see there's a trend where there's, people that were just going through the process. Bang, 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 bang. We've rehearsed it, called off numbers off a deck of cards. Yeah. And that's fantastic for them. Yeah. Doesn't work for me. No. I'm not a mathematician. I need time to process as well, come down. And, sometimes, there's a gap in proceedings and I think, well, they're nervous. Yeah. I'm nervous as well. Yeah. Now, my first auction, I reckon I had 20 nervous peas. Like, it was just never ending. I think, God, I would be like dehydrated by the time I even get out there.
But we were saying off camera before, if you're not nervous, you're not growing.
Oh, 100%.
Don't you think? Like, nerves is scary. And if you're not breaking down those barriers, you're kind of standing still.
Yep. No, it's true. And, that first, before you pick up the bell, just that big deep, and then you just go out there and, once it's done, then it's okay. But I think you've just got to go through that process of, and it's not terror, but it's not far from it.
It's okay. We're all okay here. Another thing that I really wanted to touch on with you today is I was lucky enough this year to present you with the Graham Keogh Award. Yeah. So for those listening, the Graham Keogh Award is an internal award within our group that is presented to one of our team members that displays basically just team building spirit, lifting everyone up, always coming to every single situation with a positive attitude, and it's basically the most loved member of the group. Putting it bluntly, that's how I felt about it. You have attributed to building such great culture, not only with the Whitehorse team, but with everyone. I've said it with Ben a while ago that your office is so great at not gatekeeping any information. You're so willing and open to sharing. Tell me what winning that award meant to you this year.
Do you know, that was pretty special. As you can imagine, opening up that email, didn't in a million years expect to there was some really good competition out there as well, so to speak. But I think that's what our team's about. Yeah. My name's on the award, but it's not just me, it's all of us collectively. you know, I mean, you're a Fletcher, so it's sort of maybe a little bit different. But for us, you know, we're very fortunate to have a company that we do.
Yeah.
You know, I've worked at other companies where the culture's nowhere near as good as what we've got, and everyone wants you to do well.
Yeah.
And everyone's there to help you do well. You know, whether it's from, you know, Bradley at the top to, you know, a new start, you know, or a, you know, Saturday host.
Yeah.
Everyone's there to help each other.
Yeah.
And I think it helps us all grow.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's about. It's not just me winning the award, and yeah, it was pretty special.
Your investment, not only within your team, but in the wider community, is something that you do quite quietly. However, I've had the privilege of being invited by you to host the Leo of the Year with the Lions Club,
Yeah.
which you participate so regularly in. Tell me how that collaboration and relationship started.
Probably started, you know, way back, you know, at school, you know, doing the volunteer sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Then it sort of, you know, you get a bit older, adolescent, and life takes a whole, you know, fun things in life,
Yeah.
so to speak, you know, going out with your friends on a Friday, Saturday night and recovering all of a Sunday. So there was absolutely nothing, I can assure you. I'm no Mother Teresa. And then as you get older, you know, things change. You know, you don't go out all the time. You know, you go out for a dinner, and that's a nice night out, as opposed to, you know, getting home at 6 a.m. from the metro feeling rather seedy, which was fun at the time.
Fun at the time.
And then it sort of all of a sudden becomes, as you get older, I've got this time on my hand. How can I use it effectively?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a work 24/7 person. That's not me. It will never will be me.
Yeah.
As much as I love my job, I think you've got to have, you know, different sections of your life that you sort of do things that you get pleasure out of. And Lions Club is near the Box Hill Golf Club, where we do a lot of training as a network. My dad's a member of the golf club, so always go in there because he gets a voucher for $20 every year that we've got to use because we can't waste it, and it's just horrific. But anyway,
How do you go with the wine selection?
Oh, it's awful because my dad.
He spends the entire on his one glass of
Yeah,
wine.
my dad's really funny. My dad's had a really good job, a
Yeah.
very well-paying job, yet he sorts his wine by good value. And if I dare suggest anything a bit more than good value, it's just like, yeah, it's like I've knifed him. And I'm like, Dad, I'll pay. It's not about the money, Ian, it's not the money. So, yeah, so seeing the Lions Club there, and I thought, you know,
Yeah.
what is this about? I know they've sort of done bits and pieces. I look into it, and I went to one of their meetings, and like everyone there was like quite old. I felt sort of, was this sort of right for me? But a really fun bunch of people. And it sort of just progressed from there. So raising money for so many different local charities, international, you know, doing a barbecue, sausages on Bunnings once in a while, or, you know, selling a Christmas cake. It's all selling.
Totally.
It's all selling.
related back to real
That's
estate.
right.
And I think the Lions Club especially, like even though are they worldwide or Australia?
They're worldwide.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
But they are so localised as well. Like
Correct.
you can become a member of part of your local community. So it's
Well
all
and
kind
truly.
of, yeah.
And everyone knows who they are.
Oh, absolutely.
As well. So it's sort
Yeah.
of, I think because it ties back locally as well as globally, I think to me, it's a little bit more important being a bit more sort of local.
Yeah.
You know, to me, just giving money away to, you know, to tsunami relief, whatever it might be, it's fantastic. But there's a lot of need on our own shores as well. So I think there's a balance of both, which I like.
Yeah. I wish we could talk for hours, but we've well and truly past our buffer.
It's been a
But
pleasure.
you are such an amazing human. I think for all of the showmanship that you bring to real estate, there is such a realness and a rawness about you, which you have an amazing truth-telling ability. And I think that's what connects your community to you as an agent, but as a human as well. And it's something that not everyone has. So
Thank you.
congratulations on that. But you said something to me yesterday which really struck me. You said, Prue, at the end of the day, we're all striving for the same thing. We all just have a very different way of getting there. What did that mean when you said that to me?
Well, I think, you know, life has challenges for everyone.
Yeah.
And, you know, something that's a challenge for me might not be for you or vice versa. And so I think you've just got to open up your eyes to the big wide world and see that everyone's got struggles, everyone's got issues in their life, everyone's got good days, bad days. But at the end of the day, we all want to be happy.
Yeah.
We all want to have a great life.
Totally.
We all want to have a lovely family and have security and all of that. So it's just piecing that puzzle together
Yeah.
within yourself.
Yeah.
I think firstly you need to know yourself and be comfortable in yourself. And
Which is hard.
tell me about it.
I've been through a lot of therapy for that. That's really difficult.
It is. And until you allow yourself to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
allow yourself to be really exposed, I think you'll never find your true self
Yeah.
and your true worth. So I think you've got to give people, their dues when they give it a
Grace.
go.
Yeah.
And because they want the same as you. They want to
Totally.
be happy.
Everyone just wants
So I
to be
think
happy.
that's what it's all about. It's just being mindful of other people. They've got their own journey, as you do. Embrace it. Love it.
Ian Van Eijk, it is a pleasure.
Thank you,
Always.
Prue.
Thank you for keeping it real.
Thank you.